Murph in the morning, the world's worst DJ, broadcasting live from the Cuda Chevrolet broadcast studio on a Wednesday morning, a cold Wednesday morning. It's going to warm up, though. Don't worry about it. This morning, good morning, everybody. We have a guest, a co-host for the next half hour or so. Our friend Gatlin Fenwick's in studio with us. Good morning, Gatlin.
Good morning, Murph.
Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
About a year.
I think, was it? I think I was in here maybe a month or so before the last fundraiser in last summer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks for having me back.
Your mic is soft. Try to talk into the smiley face.
Oh, hi.
Does that work better?
All right.
Test.
You tell me.
Live radio. How about that?
Okay, I'll just get right close.
Perfect. That's good. Nice job.
Use my radio voice.
So, thank you. Yeah, there we go. Gatlin Fenwick on the air. So, Gatlin, thanks for coming in. So, since last year when we talked, we just met. That's the first time we met.
Right.
As far as I know. Now I can't, especially every time I go through Reedsburg, I can't help but think of you. So, and trying to picture where the Tinman event is held and how beautiful it sounds.
Yeah.
And everything. It just sounds pretty neat. Sounds pretty. So I'm trying to imagine. Couldn't make it last year. Maybe we'll make it this year.
All right.
But it's an awful neat event. And my two takeaways from our last visit. So we're talking with Gatlin Fenwick, going to talk about the Blake's Tinman event, and all about it. The other thing about it is, I've never been accused of being the sharpest marble in the drawer. It took me like that whole half hour to figure out why it was Tinman. I kept thinking of Wizard of Oz, and no, it's a play on Iron Man, the Iron Man triathlons and stuff, right?
That's the origin. So what we did when we decided to raise more money to issue a second scholarship after we issued the first scholarship with our inheritance from Blake, our idea was to come up with a fundraiser to raise another $6,000 to do another scholarship. It was that simple. And so we decided to revive a triathlon that was formerly held at our property back in the 80s. And it was called the Tinman Triathlon. Exactly what you said. It was a play on Iron Man. It was a sprint triathlon. But then there's also this this connection of the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz and how he didn't have a heart and he was given a heart. And you could tell the whole time during the movie before he had a heart, he had a heart.
Yeah.
All along.
Yeah.
So there's that, and our whole foundation was started with this Blake's Tinman triathlon event. But what that inspired was the creation of the foundation called the Blake Matthew Mindful Memorial Foundation, which is now just so much bigger than the event itself. And it has its own name, and it has its own. We've discovered that it has its own brand power itself that is separate or above the Tinman Triathlon event. Because this year, the biggest change is that since I met with you last, I sold my appraisal company, and I am full time with the foundation. And
is that right?
And I am going at this as deep as I can, and I've never been more excited to get up in the morning and go to work. I've never had so much fun at work. I've never had so much energy. It's a fuel inside
you got
me.
Kind of permagrin going right now. From the moment you walked in the building, in the studio here, you've been smiling. No, and it gets bigger, but you're smiling. You're happy. This is good. This is good stuff, and you're excited about it.
Yeah, I definitely am.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We can hear it in your voice. Everybody listening in their speakers again, hear the smile on you. That's awesome.
All right, good.
So this morning, why exactly are we in? What can we learn more? What can we do to help
I wanted to share the different fundraisers that we have this year because there's so far above and beyond just the Tinman Triathlon. We're fundraising all year long. We have some really exciting events and fun activities coming down the pipe. Yesterday, I met with Mike Kaminsky, the owner of Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells, and he got really excited when I told him about he already knew about the foundation a little bit from the beginning, but when I updated him on what we were doing, he got really excited and said, "Let's do a gala in the fall." And he said, "Oh man, this is going to be so good." He said the last gala they did, they raised $250,000.
Stop it.
The first one they did, they raised $150,000. his friends over at Todd Nelson's restaurant at Kalahari earlier this year, or at the end of last year, they raised $1.2 million for carbone cancer at that gala.
Wow.
So the potential is huge. The network that the resort owners have in the Dells, it's a tight knit group. Everyone supports each other, and they get in their friends from around the state to come support.
Yeah, that's a good example. Just to go off on a tangent, they do a great job there supporting each other. Yes, they're competing against each other, but they realize the stronger their competition is, the stronger they can be. Right. They work together. They complement. They share ideas. They go after it like crazy. They keep trying to one-up each other, which is fun to watch from the outside.
Yeah.
But they're friends too. They're competitors and friends, and they're making it better, plussing each other.
Yeah, they get it. They understand that competition drives innovation, and they're not afraid of that. It's obvious when you drive through the Dells.
Yeah, what's going next? What is that build going on?
Yeah.
So, all right, so the gala is one event.
Yes.
And so, any more details on that? Is there a date yet? It's just
the date is the fall. I'm hoping for after the Tinman, so either late September or sometime in October.
Okay.
Hopefully where it doesn't overlap with another mental health benefit in the area. Yeah. So we'll just get that date narrowed down and go for it. But before that, we have another campaign that'll be a lot of fun. It's called Adopt a County. And so our goal this year is to touch somebody in each county, whether it be through a grant. And maybe I should back up a little bit and explain what their grants are, because this was new. I forgot if I mentioned it last year.
I don't, but refresh our memory if you did.
Well, this whole foundation was started with the idea of giving out scholarships to graduates going to school for mental health related studies, and a $6,000 scholarship. But then after we raised over $200,000, it dawned on us that we could do something else that would provide immediate impact, because scholarships are great, but students might change their major. It might be 4 or 5 years before they get in the workforce to help somebody with a mental health issue. So we wanted to do something now with the money that we had. And so we started this program called, we called it a wellness grant. And since then, we've given it a name. It's called a Tinman coin. So the wellness grants we give out are called Tinman coins.
Okay.
And it's a voucher that has on it. So what happens is somebody applies for a wellness grant, presumably somebody who's struggling with a mental health issue of some type. And then the next step is for them to come into the office, and I meet with them for 30 minutes to an hour, get to know them, see what sort of treatments, therapies, coaches, services they might be interested in. And then we look at our provider list, because we maintain a pool of wellness partners, different practitioners, coaches, therapists that we have vetted and we have qualified to be in our program. And so we look at the needs and the wants of the applicant, and then we look at the pool of partners that we have, and then we just connect the dots. And when we issue their Tinman coin grant, it says right in there, you have, you can take this class, you can go to this session, you can go to this, it might be a yoga, it might be Reiki, it might be hypnotherapy, it could be talk therapy with a counselor or a therapist. In a conventional clinical setting, it might be some sort of nature therapy, because everybody's different. Everybody is interested in healing and transforming in their own way that resonates with them.
Yeah. Nice. I do remember you talking about that last time we did, and it was kind of, there wasn't a Tinman coin then, right, but it was specific for them, and it was more immediate. Yes, the scholarships are great, and those folks that get through it and start it and finish it as that will help dozens and hundreds and thousands of people,
right,
in their own way. But there's other people struggling right now everybody learns a different way. Students learn a different way. Everybody heals a different way.
Right.
So that's perfect. That's perfect. So that's one of the things you're doing. Gatlin Fenwick's in studio with us, our friend Gatlin Fenwick, and talking about the Blake Matthew Mindful Foundation.
Yeah. It's a mouthful. It's a Blake Matthew Mindful Memorial Foundation, but we go as like doing business as Blake's Foundation, Blake's Tinman.
Okay.
It always has the word Blake in it, and that is our brand.
Yeah.
Is Blake's Foundation.
Okay. So not to take the smile off your face a little bit, but let's explain to our listeners why it's Blake and why it's so important and why it's mindful and why it's for mental health. I'm sorry, bud. I'm sorry you lost your son to mental illness.
Yeah, I learned yesterday, if I tell a story and incorporate things I haven't practiced saying a lot, it's hard. But if I repeat the same canned story I've said many times, it's easy.
Okay.
So in 2020, the day after Christmas, my 21-year-old son committed suicide. About a year later, when everything was settled, we inherited $6,000 from him, and we issued a scholarship with that money to a student in Reedsburg going to school for studies related to mental health. And then laying in bed that night after the scholarship ceremony, we thought, let's keep this going. This felt really good to do. Let's come up with a fundraiser to raise another $6,000. And that's what sparked this snowball that is just growing and growing.
And it's unfortunate. And I'm sorry for your loss. It's still raw. I know it is. But this foundation has taken on its own life.
Oh,
Obviously, so since this is your full-time gig now, it's and you're enjoying it, but it's something that you can spend your time on and get a lot of joy from, I'm sure.
Oh man, it's talk about healing with the grieving process. I wish everyone who lost a loved one to suicide could start a foundation and pour their heart and soul into it, because that is just what turns the tragedy into hope and rays of light. And then it just all feels like it was meant to be, and that Blake did this as a favor to humanity, and then it makes it less painful.
Beautiful, dude. Wow, that's beautiful. I have a feeling in a few years you're going to be giving speeches and coaching people on how to start their own foundations. If we can't eradicate mental illness and suicide, we're not gonna. Obviously, we're not gonna. One goal I have in my heart and you have is to at least try our best to eliminate the stigma of mental illness. There should not be a stigma. There's help for people. You're a bright example of there's help for people. There's help for everyone. Everybody experiences mental illness, a challenge at one point in time, some more than others. There's help for you. You're not alone. Get help. And by all means, folks, let's get rid of the stigma. There is nothing wrong with somebody if they're having a mental challenge. Heaven forbid you go through the same thing they're going through. You don't know what they're going through.
Right. The stigma. That's part of our mission statement. I wanted to bring in our annual report to share with you, but I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Our mission in short summary is to remove the barriers of access to mental health care and to eliminate the stigma in the discussion rooms of mental health. And it's, what's interesting is that 99% of our grant applicants are women. And so there's still a tough guy mentality.
Machismo,
men don't cry,
yeah.
Type of thing. And so what we've done is we've organized more community events and workshops and repeating things. For example, the Wild Heart Sons is a men's group that we formed. We're having our first gathering next month, or less than a month from now, and it's going to be a great turnout. And it's just a place for like-minded men from all different walks of life, all different ages, to get together to meet with intention. And instead of doing the same things guys normally do when we drink beer and go bowling or something, it's going to have a little more heart involved in it. And I think that will open the door for more men to open up to.
Yeah. I'm sure getting to know you and listen, obviously going through the loss of a child, that way, you've had to have help to get through it. And look at me, duh, Murph, are you kidding me? That's blatantly obvious. and I've seen therapists, and I've seen one, especially when I went through my divorce, and that was and that was unbelievably helpful. Just the talking through it helped. So this group, Wild Hearts, or what was it?
Wild Heart Sons.
Wild Heart Sons. So that I mean, yeah, we guys will go out, we'll go fishing, punch each other in the shoulder, have a beer, so you suck it up, Buttercup, whatever. But man, it feels good to talk and get it off. Just that is the start of the healing. Just talking it, emptying it.
Just to have that community, whether it's just one other person or a group of 10 people, just to have that other person, have that ear to bend.
Nice, very nice. You mentioned $6,000, so you inherited a year later. You inherited, and I remember talking to you, and we'll never forget when we talked about it the first time. Is you like, I don't want that. No, and then you and your wife figured out, all right, this is what we do with it.
Yeah.
And now look what it did. Way to go.
Yeah.
Now look what that sparked. Yeah. So very cool. So we still only got one fundraiser.
Oh, yeah.
We only talked about the one game.
I had to back up.
I know. Yeah. But that's, anybody who listens to the show knows I go all over the board. It's not linear at all. It's scatterbrain off on tangents, try to bring it back in. So, Gatlin Fenwick in studio talking about Blake's Foundation.
Yeah.
Just Blake's Foundation. But, the gala, I can't wait to hear more about that as that gets closer. I know you'll let us know about it, how we can participate and stuff. But what else?
Okay, so the Adopt a County program is one of our goals this year is to, and this will probably come towards the end of the year. Maybe I'll be surprised and it'll be sooner. But I want to go to Quick Trip in Culver's and ask them to round up for mental health in September. Allow their customers to round up for mental health during the month of September. Beyond September would be great, but September alone fits because September is mental health month and the first week of September is suicide prevention week. So there's just a lot going on in September around mental health. It's when our Blake's Tinman Triathlon is held. And I feel like we don't have a really good sales pitch to go to Culver's or Quick Trip if we don't go to them and say we have a statewide presence. I want to be able to go there and prove to them that we have statewide impact. And by doing that, one way we can do that is by providing a Tinman coin to at least one person in each county, or also by having wellness partners that are located in each county. And so to do that, we're launching a program called Adopt a County, and it's a $13,600 adoption fee that an individual or a group of individuals or a corporation can sponsor to adopt that county. And so, for example, let's say Quick Trip wanted to adopt La Crosse County. They would be known for a 2-year period as the mental health partner for La Crosse County. And what that $13,600 does for a 2-year period is it covers Blake's Foundation's operating costs to provide services in that county. And once the Adopt the County program is blanketed across the whole 72-county state of Wisconsin, all of our operating costs for 2 years are filled, which means, and this gives me goosebumps, that every other fundraiser above and beyond that, 100% of all the donations go directly to programs. So when a company adopts a county, they are basically just setting in stone for that 2-year period that Blake's Foundation will have a presence to make an impact in that county. And it's also a great marketing tool for the company who's sponsoring, because for that 2-year period, they are the wellness partner.
They are the
yes.
wellness partner for this.
Yes.
Okay, I got to ask, where did $13,600 come from?
You take that times 72 and you get $1 million.
Okay.
I was using ChatGPT AI tool the other day, and I said, help me brainstorm some fundraising ideas to raise $1 million. And it gave me 10. It gave me 10, and we filtered them down to our top 3, and we're just running with them.
Awesome. It's interesting how you said, so you get all 72, and then in effect your overheads covered, and the rest goes to
right.
plus it.
Yes.
It keeps plussing it. That's the goal of not changes, but that's the goal of special events and stuff. Get sponsorships for the event, whatever it might be, carnival, fair, whatever. Get sponsorships. So by the time the gates open for that, your costs are covered. Then everything else goes to whatever the cause is for the fair or whatever. It's just an interesting way to do it. And then think of all the pluses, all the other fun, the Blake's Tinman and the other thing that you obviously thought of that. That's I get why you got goosebumps when you're telling that story.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times when you go to raise money, the donor will want to say how much goes to operating expense, how much goes to administration, how much of what I'm donating goes to programs, and so that evolves. However, it depends on how much money you raise. It depends on how much your programs expand. So with this model, we're able to just right out of the gate, first fundraiser of the year, cover our operating costs for 2 years, and then some. It's $1 million covers way more than what we would need, but it's a great place to start because after that, every single fundraiser is 100% going to programs. How much of my $10 donation is going to go to administration? 0, because that county's been adopted.
Yeah. County's been adopted. There are providers that you vetted in that county, pretty special.
And on that, it's so beautiful to me to see this come together where when we put out a Facebook post telling people that they can apply for a wellness grant, and when we put out a post looking for wellness providers, there is no shortage of either. So the supply and demand, at least in Reedsburg, and I think this is just true popping up everywhere, that these, whether you call them transformational coaches or healing practitioners, mental health, traditional mental health practitioners, holistic things, it's just the stuff is popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
And the mental health challenges are everywhere. And so when we have 10 providers sign up, we have 20 people apply. So there's it's like there's not that much of a challenge out there because we can just connect these dots, and we have these dots available to pull in. They're knocking on our doors.
It's got to feel great for you when the providers reach out to you and contact you, but all the better when you feel bad somebody's having a mental health challenge that has to apply for a grant, but you feel grateful that they're asking for help. Oh dear gosh, that they're asking for help. Yes.
Yeah, it feels so good. You're immediately so proud of that person because filling out that form and pressing the send button is hard. And
that's the hardest. Hit send.
Yeah.
That's got to be the hardest to sit right there. And then they do it. Then they get a message back from you
saying, come in to talk for a half hour. And a lot of times they show up and they're timid or they're nervous. And then by the end of it, they're open, they're smiling, they're hopeful, they've learned something. A lot of times just this onboard meeting itself is so huge and helpful.
So healing for them.
And they leave with a smile, and we hug it out, and they say we'll be sending your coin here in a couple days, and we look forward to following up. And the coins are issued, the grants are issued in succession. So there's phase 1, which is more of like a dip your toes in, go find something that fits you. And then they need to do the work. They need to go to their sessions. They need to follow up. And they can come back and they can say, none of this worked. I didn't like any of it. But that makes them eligible for a phase 2 grant. They can go dip their toes in a few other things. The point is, hopefully by the time they get to phase 3, they found something they like, and we can give them more of that.
Yeah.
So the phase 3 should result in them finding a practice that they enjoy and that they found is good for them. And then when they have a story of triumph to tell, they come in our podcast, we record it, and that goes right into our media flow, because those are impact results. That's what a donor is to a foundation, like an investor is to stock. But the rate of return is, for our donors, is to see impact results. Let me see this story on how this foundation and these grants have changed somebody's
You
life.
gotta be like, so thanks for asking that question. Here's the story.
Right.
There you go. That's awesome. I was thinking about your adopted county, and just when you talked about that onboarding meeting, and at the end you hug it out. So what? I don't know my geography real well in the east part of the state, but where the paper mills are, where they make Kleenex,
Yeah,
in the east
Fox Valley. Yeah.
there, that would be a good county for get a sponsor for Kleenex.
Oh, yeah.
Because I bet you go through a few tissues
Right.
going through those
Yeah,
meetings.
good point. Yeah, you do. We do.
Yeah.
Well, that would be Brown, Calumet, Winnebago,
There you go.
Fond du Lac, Outagamie.
There you go. Those, all those. Kimberly Clark or somebody can
Yeah.
sponsor all those.
Yeah.
So, goodness gracious, bittersweet. People need the help, and it's tough, but they're asking for help, and that's great. And you're helping provide that, which is better. You and Blake's Foundation.
Yeah, we're just connecting dots, and it feels so good to do it.
Yeah, wonderful. That's wonderful. What else you got going on? No, we're going to keep you overtime a little bit if you got time.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
got time?
Yeah, I do have one more campaign I want to talk about.
Please.
So this is, well, there's two more, and these last two, because the first ones where we're asking for a county to be adopted or somebody to donate or buy something at a big high dollar gala, you need to bring your checkbook and open up your wallet.
Yeah.
But there's two other fundraising programs that we are putting in place that is going to allow anybody and everybody to participate. The first one is the Snowball fundraiser. And so the way that a viral snowball can start on the internet is with momentum, and you kind of don't know. It's hit or miss. It's an algorithm that we just don't know what the perfect storm is, but all we can do,
it interesting and challenging at the same time.
Yeah. So you prepare by getting 100 seeds. So we get a list of at least 100 people to commit to donating $10. But they don't do it right then. We have them do it all at the same time. But when they donate $10, they tag 3 other friends. So they basically nominate other people to donate $10. So and then it's like 3, 2, 1, go, and that starts the snowball. So 100 or 200 people donate $10 and then tag 3 friends, and then that all happens at one time, like in one given hour on one specific day. Okay. And then then the snowball is essentially built and rolled down over the hill, and there's nothing you can do after that except for just watch.
Step back and watch. See what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And $10 is easy for a lot of people to contribute. So we really like that one.
Especially, it's $10 is easy for many of us to do, especially if you realize that 10 times 100 becomes how many? How much?
Yeah.
And then maybe 3 times that, and then who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
If it rolled beyond Wisconsin or what?
Yeah.
And the other one is a 100-day challenge. So do you remember the ice bucket challenge that was linked somehow to ALS?
Yeah.
Well, it's at a certain point, the challenge itself goes viral, and I think maybe ALS didn't benefit from every ice bucket challenge that happened.
Got being goofy.
But it did raise awareness for ALS and probably taught some people what that acronym stands for.
Yeah.
But the idea is to come up with a 100-unit challenge. It could be, we don't know yet. It could be 100 days of mindfulness. It could be 100 minutes of meditation. It could be 100 miles ran. It could be 100 days of cold plunges, something to that effect. But kids can do this, and they can get their grandparents to say, will you contribute $1 per mile or $1 per day for 100 days? And that'll be a lot of fun. And then we get like influencers involved. I really would like to get Charlie Barron's involved. He's a social media giant in Wisconsin.
All you say is Charlie Barron's, and people laugh.
Yeah. Hilarious comedian.
Yeah.
Just a ton of followers. So people like him or Jordan Love, get some sort of celebrities in there, locally known people to help promote this 100-day challenge of whatever it is.
Yeah. So get somebody to sponsor you $1 a day. Get a few people to sponsor whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're getting better. The program's getting better.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Gatlin Fenwick in studio with us talking about Blake's Foundation, all the other thing, and Blake's Tinman. I thought it was about Tinman. I had no idea, but that's what makes it fun, visiting about it. like you did as you introduced those last two ways that all of us can get involved. Unlike the first couple things that maybe not all of us can get involved in. So I was thinking, all right, how do we get more information about that? Now we really want to know how we get more information about those last two, all of them. But how do we get more information? How do we stay in touch with Blake's Foundation and know what you got going, how we can help, how we can get help?
Yes.
How do we do that?
BlakesTinman.com is the main website, and the fundraising details are not on there yet. That's what I'll be doing the rest of the day today. But
so we're on the cutting edge of it. These are brainstorms. These are things that are scribbled on paper in your brain, but not out there on the cyber world yet, cyber universe.
Right. These are ideas that got me
out of bed.
Thank
you. All right.
Yeah, we are.
I feel special. This is awesome. So, all right. So BlakesTinman.com.
Yes.
BlakesTinman.com. Facebook page.
Yeah, there's a Facebook page right on the website. You can find links to Facebook and so follow us on Facebook.
We will do that as usual. We're going to take a picture of us, evidence. We'll put it on our Facebook pages with that link to your website, so people can follow that and do that. When you get ready for that snowball, I'd like to be one of the first 100 on that to get that going.
You got it, buddy.
So make sure I'm one of those, so we can see when that goes over the cliff, how big it gets.
Okay.
And I want to be on the start, and then I want to watch it from the side with you. So
all right, great.
That'll be awesome. Very cool. A mile a day for 100 days. I don't know if I can do that. We'll see if I can come up with something for the 100-day part of it. But what else you got for us, Gatlin?
Well, you brought up a good point. Maybe we could say 100 of you pick. You want to do 100?
I heard somebody's yelling at their speaker. 100 days that Murph doesn't talk. Somebody's yelling. No,
you didn't have any sponsors for that?
It'd be better if I ran it. Then I could better chance of running a mile a day than shutting up. Sorry.
100 minutes of meditation a week. I don't know what is it. That's probably too much. How about just 100 minutes of meditation? So that would be 10 minutes for 10 days in a row.
Okay.
How many? You're gonna find someone to donate $1 per minute.
All right. Well, we'll come up with an idea.
All right.
But I'm sorry, I interrupted you. So,
no,
that's what we do. We go off on tangents, and who knows where it's going to go. But so the 100 days, the $10, all kinds of great information. We'll see more as you get it up online on BlakesTinman.com.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back in and talk more in a few months if that's okay.
So, one thing I was confused. You started going in September. So September is, and May is some mental health awareness month.
Well, September, as far as I know, and I guess I don't know exactly. From what I remember from last year was that September seemed to just have a lot of mental health. Like there's mental health month or mental health week or suicide prevention week, something along those lines. September seems to be the month, and that just so happens that's when our Tinman Triathlon is. Yeah. And it'll be shortly before our Chula Vista Gala.
Awesome. That's very neat that the Chula Vista, without hesitation, got excited with you.
Oh, yeah.
So, Gatlin, thanks for coming in, bud. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have your smile in the studio.
Good to see you again.
That's awesome. Stay well. We'll get a picture. And keep us up to speed. Even if you can't make it in, call us and tell us how things are going.
Okay.
We'll put you on the air over the phone. But it's always better to come in. I appreciate that so much. We appreciate it. We're gonna together, you and I and everybody else listening, everybody else coming in. We talk about it as much as we can. We're gonna help get rid of that stigma of mental health, mental illness. There should not be a stigma. It's everybody. There should not be a stigma. Can you leave us with whatever thoughts you have to leave us with, and then your mission statement one more time, because that was pretty, especially that mission statement. However, if you don't want to read or summarize it or whatever, but and then whatever else you want to leave us with. But man, I appreciate you coming in.
I'd like to leave with the mission statement, but I'd like to read it because I don't have it totally memorized. And I guess one other thing I would like to say is it's thinking that's the problem. We think too much. We can't stop. We can't help it.
Yeah.
But thoughts
we overthink. Yeah.
Thoughts are, we tend to take ownership of thoughts, and we think that they're ours, and we think that the emotions that we experience are ours. But it's really no different than the phenomenon of a cloud going across the sky. It's just, it comes in. We can't control it. So to be able to be a witness of your thoughts, and to just be aware of your thoughts, and to be an observer of your thoughts instead of feeling like they're yours, is really powerful.
Interesting. That's a good way to put it. Gatlin, did you go to school for this? What did you? I mean, this is
just been an appraiser for 23 years, and now I'm helping my community appraise the value of mental health. Our mission statement is so the Blake's Tinman Mental Health Foundation exists to remove the barriers to mental health care, offering individualized support and resources to help people on their unique journeys to healing and transformation. We aim to provide accessible mental health tools to those struggling, empowering them to lead healthier, more fulfilled lives. And we envision a world where mental health support is accessible to all, where every individual feels empowered to seek help, and where the stigma surrounding mental health is eradicated. Our goal is to create a statewide network of support that empowers people with emotional intelligence, self-mastery, and overall wellness.
Gatlin Fenwick in studio with us. Blake'sTinman.com. Gatlin, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Way to go. Stay tuned, everybody.